What's going on, everybody? Jeff Porter from Roll for New GM. Today, we're taking a look at a solo TTRPG called Rune. So, many people know who have been following the channel. I've been going through, trying out new TTRPGs, and this one really caught my attention. This is really cool. It's a Souls-like TTRPG that you can play solo, and it's $15 right now. You get the rule book, you get like the realm guide, and we're going to talk a little bit about it today. So I'm really excited about this. I'm going to be playing it. Maybe let me know down below if you want to see me do, like a solo adventure, record it, put it up here, and so you guys can see. So what is Rune? Rune is a solo TTRPG inspired by Souls-like genre of video games, including Dark Souls, Bloodborne, and Elden Ring. In Rune, you are a wanderer of the lands of Oberon. The world is dangerous but full of power if you are willing to reach out and take it. Rune combines narrative exploration with tactical combat to capture the environmental storytelling and high-stakes combat you might love in Souls-like games. So what is included? You get the rulebook, you get the Realm Atlas, and all you need is a six-sided die. So just a normal standard die. No D20s, D10s, D12, none of that stuff. You just need a single die, which I think is really cool. So Rune cycles between two play modes. There's exploration and combat, and it's pretty straightforward, but very, very difficult. So, you can see here the Grim Coast. You have some exploration. There's a day and night cycle, and then they go on to explain everything. So I bought this. I have the rule book, and we're just gonna kind of take a quick look at it because, first of all, the cover is awesome. I really love the art. I love the style, everything. It's awesome. I think maybe if they had, like, at the bottom here, solo TTRPG, I don't know, just something I would put. Um, so looking through this, we are going to jump over to combat real fast because I know that's typically what a lot of people like to jump into. So like I said, all you need is I think you just need one six-sided die. So all combat takes place in a 4x4 grid, like you can see here. Kind of a small chessboard kind of thing. If there's any terrain, it shows you where. And then it shows you the starting location for you. What I really like with the six-sided die is with the equipment and stuff, like if you have a sword, you roll, and then based on what you roll, it's not like a roll to hit, it's nothing like that. It's just a simplified, see if we can, so here with the longsword, if you roll a 2, you do 1 harm, 1 damage. A 3, 4, 5, you get to move a space, and then you also swing for 2. And then if you roll a 6, you get to move 1 and then hit something for 3. Same with the shield. You can roll to block, and then it kind of decides, if you get a move or not. So very simplified, but at the same time, incredibly difficult because you can see there with the longsword, you're doing 1 to 2 damage most of the time. A lot of these creatures, like I said, very Souls-like, 10 health, 12 health, 14 health. So there's a lot of different things going on there. You can flee from the fight because, let's be honest, you're probably going to start getting your ass whooped. So in order to flee from a fight, you must occupy a square at the edge of the grid. Fleeing a fight takes part during step 4, either before or after you have moved. When you attempt to flee, take 6 harm minus any single rolled stamina die to mitigate the incoming damage. You cannot use a stamina die that allowed you to move to the edge of the grid. This represents the enemies taking one last swing at you as you run away. So even if you want to run away from a fight, it's still going to be incredibly difficult for you to do so. It might just be better for you to stand there, take the hit, and die. So what happens when you die? Well, you are put back at the sigil. The sigil's marked on the map, typically with a 1, and it'll say on the map, see if I can pull one up here real fast. So here are the Draco lands. You can see the clock. What happens when you die? So if you die in the Draco lands, you resurrect at the sigil, number 1, with full health. In addition, your death energies feed the draconic ritual, marking the current clock once. So what happens at the sigil? You can see you can rest, so you can recover your health, unmark all fights in the realm. There is no limit to how many times you can rest. When you unmark fights in the realm, that means every fight you've done up until then resets, it goes away. So it's basically like the enemies are respawning. You've taken too long, you didn't kill everything fast enough, they're going to respawn as you're resting. So it makes it incredibly difficult. And then each point on the map, as you are exploring, you can see Dracolands has 10 locations that you can travel to. So if you go from 1 to 2, so you go from the sigil to the Church of Fire, there are scorched skeletons and burned robes litter the path to a pristine church along the coast. So you can search. So you gain a fire branch with 1 use. You can choose 1 weapon to deal +1 harm for 3 rounds during combat. That's pretty good. Extra damage. You can learn, which increases your lore +1. And there's a whole lore system that you can build up your lore. And then you can also delve, which requires you to use the draconic flame. The intensity of the flame evaporates the water along the coast, revealing a path to the nearby island. You may now travel between points 2 and 11. The church was always creative with its use of the draconic flame. They found it opened doors for them, or at least burned down walls. So if we go back to the map, you can see if you can go from 2 to between points 2 and 11. So you can go from here underneath the water to 11, which is pretty cool. So if you did do that, if we take a look at 11, the Rune Lord pit, a massive pit has been dug into the center of the island. Within it, the Rune Lord of the Dracolands attempts their transformation ritual. So you can see there's only one thing you can do here, and that's fight. So you can see there's a special. The form the Rune Lord takes depends on which clock you are currently in for the realm. Use the appropriate card on the following pages when determining the Rune Lord's actions and abilities. So if we go, you can see Draconic Knight. Here, the Rune Lord. You can see 12 health, range adjacent. Look at that damage. Even if it rolls a 1, it's still doing 3 damage. If it's a dragon, gets 14 health, which is just crazy. So you can see there's terrain permanently. So when you go to that combat map on B2, C3, D1, there's going to be permanent terrain there. And then, of course, you have the enemies, which you have the Lord of the Dracolands starts in A1. It is unique. And then you start in D4. So you're basically on opposite ends of this map. And then when you have killed the Rune Lord, you may claim the Draco Rune, page 29. So if you go here, you can see the Draco Rune, which now, once per combat, you get to choose 1 effect. Deal 3 harm to all enemies or prevent all harm for a round. So you can see that as you go through battles, you accumulate these runes, you get different armor, different weapons, different abilities. The only thing is, as with every Souls-like game, it's going to be incredibly difficult to heal. There are healing potions that you can find throughout the world, but it looks like it's pretty rare. And you don't get any magic, so you're not going to be healing yourself magically. So preventing all harm is going to be very important, or just killing everything fast enough so that it doesn't harm you. The best form of crowd control is death. So go back to the maps. You can see the realm clock again. So mark the current clock whenever you move from one point to another. The current clock is the form the Rune Lord takes when you face them. And then again, you have the death penalty. You have some notes and stuff here. And then what happens. So I really like how each thing has kind of special abilities or things that can happen on a certain roll. So you can see here with the Draconic Knight, on a 5, it uses Engulf and on a 6, it gets to hit and engulf. And you can see here, very simple, straight to the point enemy cards. I really like this. Engulf. Every space within 2 of the Draconic Knight ignites in flames, dealing 2 harm. The space the knight was standing in becomes a permanent hazard. If the engraved moves on that space, they take 1 harm. So I like even they're using some keywords like becomes a hazard, but you don't have to go look up hazard. It just says right there, if you move on that space, you take 1 harm. Easy, straight to the point. Now I know a lot of people are gonna be like, well, hey, if I'm playing myself, I know where they're gonna move. I know what they're gonna do. Yeah, just kind of like Souls games. You know how many times you play through the same boss? You know their move list, you know where they're gonna go, what they're gonna do, how to dodge it. That's what this is gonna be like, with a little extra added luck. Because if you keep rolling 1s and 2s for the enemies, and you're rolling 6s and 5s, yeah, you're gonna have an easier time. But how likely is that? Switching back over to the rule book, we're still there in the atlas. This has just a bunch of different maps, a bunch of different locations. So I like how there's like a whole 139 page book for this. So this, like the Fell Woods, you can see how many different locations are there. You travel and go all through there. And each have, like their own different boss fights, which is really cool. You collect different cards, or the different weapon cards and stuff, so you can see like the runes that might be there, the gear, weapons. You can get cool fucking weapons. Beastbane Blade, which deals extra stuff to beasts. Frostdale, a whole ice covered continent. You can see all the fights there. So there's just so much content here, and it's so simply put that anybody could jump in and start playing this immediately. I read through the rules fairly quickly and kind of got the general idea. I feel like I could play it right now. So you can see equipment and runes. So with like the weapons, you can see longsword, like I talked about earlier. You can move, do damage. Versatile weapons. Some weapons have the versatile, which 2 different cards represent. At the start of each round, your engraved must decide whether they are using their weapon with 1 or 2 hands. So it's in D&D, you have the longsword, you can use one-handed, two-handed. Simple, easy to do. Keywords, they've got some keywords. Different gear that you equip. You can see they have effects. Very simple stuff, very awesome, easy to follow. You can see the enemies. The Necromancer has a summon skeleton ability if they roll a 6. You have your unique enemies, your boss fights, all of that great stuff. So, this is available right now. I think I got it on itch.io. The link will be down in the description below. It is, I think it was what? Yeah, $15. $15, you get the rule book, the realms guide, and that's really all you need. That's all you need to do. So yeah, let me know if you want to see me play this. I would definitely be down to record a couple sessions of some of the different maps and stuff, and throw it into Foundry or Roll20 or something, and give it a go. So if that's interesting to you, definitely go check it out. Use the link. Go support this guy. $15 gets you everything you need to play. And I may just play it anyway, just for fun. And I'll throw it up here on YouTube. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. I think we're going to be back here in a little bit. We're waiting for Kobold Press to put out their Black Flag Friday thing, and we're talking about that. And until next time, friends.